Hey everybody, it's Jimmy and Wayne. So today we're talking about, this is not going to be a political video, but can blue states like New York, California actually save the Florida real estate market? And let me explain, okay? And it could work vice versa, like people from red states like Florida that is right now, and it seesaws. It becomes red, then it becomes blue, purple, whatever. Then some people are leaving Florida because it's too red for them, too conservative, and they're going back to places like New York. We actually have a lot of New Yorkers coming here and they're like, hey, I don't like it, what's going on here? I'm going back to New York. But now with the stuff going on in New York City, with the mayor's race and stuff, there are some people panicking. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? We're both New Yorkers.
I've worked for several mayors, so.
Yeah. And, we're talking about, not just New York, California, Illinois, this
Jersey.
some others, Jersey, some other states and everything. But lately, I've been talking about people that are moving down here, and they seem that they're coming back. They're coming from New York and Connecticut and Jersey. And I'm asking them, and they just don't like what's going on there. And I'm not trying to bash New Yorkers. Remember, we are New Yorkers,
Both
okay?
of us, yep.
But there's a lot of things that are happening in Florida aren't really great what's happening, I always said Florida has two issues that they resolve it. One is the property tax issue. The other one is the homeowners insurance issue. If they resolve those two, this place would be booming.
I think even with just I'm not here to be Jimmy's yes man. Just to let you know, we're both from New York, and we both are down here. We're both living here. But I think if you fix the insurance, that component alone will take care of it. Not so much the property taxes, just because when I was there, I had a 1,000 square foot house that I was paying $10,000 on.
You worked in the city, right?
I worked so I can relate a lot with a lot of New Yorkers. I worked for the city, in the city, so I had to commute, and I lived out on Long Island, which means local taxes over there. I had local taxes in the city. I had city taxes, and I was paying my property taxes for schools and the police over there and fire and everything. So you pay for all your services. So my property taxes, and remember, I've been down here close to 10 years, and that was inexpensive at that time, and that was $10,000. So when you come down here and you hear 5,000, 6,000, is it much of a sticker shock? I don't think so. But the insurance is definitely one of the things that they
because insurance is actually cheaper up in New York.
And exactly, and you can't figure that one out.
I worked in the 5 boroughs, and I lived in a place called Long Beach. Grew up in a place,
you know the area well.
A town called Island Park.
Yep.
So, I'm down the same alley as you and stuff like that. So, but we really have to talk about this, all right? Again, not a political video. In the meantime, if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. If you need a real estate agent anywhere in the United States, reach out. I built a pretty good network. Or if you need a home inspector anywhere in Tampa Bay, my phone number is below. Call me, text me. I think my email's down there too. All right, this is how we're going to break down this video. Why blue states are losing people.
Yeah.
And red states are losing people to blue states, okay? Why Florida is their top choice, because I did some research. How this migration is affecting Florida housing market, because it is affecting it.
100%.
Who's moving in and what they want. Backlash and growing pains in Florida. And the big question is, can this continue?
All right. So just to let everyone know, I don't get prepped ahead of time. Jimmy just springs it on me. So I'm taking this in like you.
Yeah. So
right on the fly.
if you guys ever see the videos I do with Bill and he has no idea about the subject, that's what I want to do with this channel. Is just be straight out forward, no practice, you know. And
so here's the thing. We've got people that are probably 20 years in New York. Let's say that's just a small average. They bought a property. Maybe they paid $200,000. It's probably worth close to $1 million now. All right. What are you going to do? You've got to pay for tolls. You can't drive over 25 miles per hour on the streets anywhere in the 5 boroughs. And life is just, in general, unaffordable and inconvenient. Florida, I mean, you come down here, you may not like the heat, But you could take that equity out of that home and still buy a home and live comfortably here if that's what you wanted to do. And a lot of people are doing that. They may not like the politics, they may not like all of the rules, but they'll be down here for a season, 8, 9 months out of the year, and then get out of here when it's super hot. But they're still bringing their money here, and that's the key. What money are they bringing, and where is it coming from? Same thing in Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut.
So you touched on this. Why blue states are losing people? High taxes, income taxes, property taxes, and more. Some cities, rising crime rate.
Of course. Yeah,
Okay, we have to talk about that. Politics, some feel leadership is out of touch or anti-business.
Anti-business, and that's one of the big things.
Especially for New York City.
Well, in New York, you could bring your business down here, and that's super business friendly. Florida is more than accommodating to bring your business and set it up and keep it running here. And then when you look at a few things like, the minimum wage amount that you're going to just save from New York to Florida, I mean, that's a big thing, because you might be able to only have one location over there. Over here, you might be able to afford 2 or 3.
COVID era policies pushing many over the edge because of what happened. Cost of living in cities like San Francisco, New York City, LA still sky high.
Yep.
Rent control and housing laws make it hard for landlords. So New York City, what that person proposed, rent control, they're like, we were going to invest millions of dollars into these buildings and convert them, but now we're putting that on hold till after see what happens.
There's a couple of things. Even the small businesses, grocery store, that is like a staple. The bodegas, the grocery shops, the little mom and pop. They're talking about government running those and buying them, taking them out, which is anti-business, because you're talking about, we're not going to look out for the small business. We're actually going to put them out of business. So what are you going to do? Okay. I know a store owner that had a grocery store up there, and they moved down here, and they're opening up their grocery store here.
Woke culture, progressive agendas. Some people just don't like that.
Right.
Okay. Bureaucracy, red tape, and starting a business. A lot of red tape. It's a lot easier to start a business. You just share it. Homelessness and quality of life decline in metro areas. So that's what I mean. Like,
we're seeing an enormous rise in the videos of the homeless population harassing not only residents but tourists. And tourists is a big thing in New York. You're running on tourism, and if you're scaring away the tourists, then where are your repeat visitors?
Okay, why Florida is their top choice? Okay, Texas too, South Carolina, Tennessee, but let's talk about Florida because that's where we live. No state income tax, warm weather, beaches, red state policies. Some people like the policies, we're freedom focused, pro-business, and lower regulations.
So let's talk about the regulations. Okay. I think people are just bogged down, and I know lots of people that have come from out of state, and they've just gotten things done quicker here. That's their problem. When they're at home, they can't reach someone. You wait on a line to get told you need to be on another line. You need another form. The information isn't up to date, current, and it just seems defeatist if you're trying to get something going. It's just not happening. So when you come down here, it's a breath of fresh air. They may not be on board with the politics, but they like hey, this is easy, it's simple, and I can get it done.
Florida schools are more parental involvement, and they have a lot of charter schools.
A lot of homeschool, a lot of support for that system, a lot of if you don't like something, you can opt out. So there's that. Whereas New York schools, we're well aware that the teachers for decades have always been underpaid, and the classroom sizes are, 30.
And I just want to throw this out there. This is the stuff that we did the research on, okay? I'm not saying this is our opinions, but,
the numbers support everything.
The numbers support it. We're just going by that. More personal freedoms, gun rights, speech, lifestyle choices. This is what people are saying.
Yes. And again, just to mention on that, we're not talking political, but it was just said that what New York was doing was unconstitutional for the gun rights, and they just had that reversed by the courts. So now, there's that. So a lot of things legally have been done wrong in New York, and it's being corrected, but is it too late? I think that's the question.
Low property taxes compared to many blue states. Okay, I think our taxes, and I'm doing a whole video on taxes, but I think they're high. But compared to some blue states, it's pretty low. You know.
Very. Like I said, my comparison, when I came down here, it was 10,000 versus 2,000.
Yeah.
That's what I moved from. And think about how much that puts towards home value, you know, your mortgage. If I'm talking about $800 difference a month is not going to property taxes and can go to my mortgage, then that increases the type of home that I can afford, you know? So as a buyer.
Growing job market and no nonsense approach to crime. Like over here, we have some of those sheriffs, and they're
Yes. Yes.
like, people know them all over the country. You know.
I got one stuck in my head that I've never heard, graveyard dead.
Yeah.
That one, that was a new terminology for me. But we're talking about the businesses opening up here. We've got the Amazons, we've got Moffitt Center, and these are placing their headquarters here. So we're not talking about, you know, just a small business that's not going to be here. We're talking about this is their flagship office. So that's going to spawn off thousands of jobs.
And we have diverse options: big cities, small towns, beach towns.
Sure.
You know.
Yep.
And it already has a big New York and Midwest, but a lot of New York is already here. So if you're like, all right, am I going to be the only New Yorker in Florida? No, just go to the next house down. Okay?
That's pretty much it. And we've got some good Italian delis down here. We've got some eateries that are, you know, catering to those New York clients just for that purpose.
I just around the corner from my house, a New York pizza place. He left Manhattan and he actually moved here and opened up the pizza place here.
Yeah.
People are saying that they import the water. I don't believe that's true, but it's a selling point. But anyways.
There's a secret there that no one's willing to come out and say, but there's a difference in how the pizza tastes, how it's made. If you can even get close, you'll survive over here.
Listen, we got to talk, Wayne, we got to talk about how migration is affecting Florida housing market.
Okay.
It keeps demand, at least on higher end homes, still going.
Yeah. Again, we're not at a point where we've got so many available houses that they're not being taken off the market.
Well, that's right. Second one, allows builders to keep developing new communities.
Yep. And, well, so we've got some stuff that you and I touched on it in one of our videos where we're talking about the interest rates. And I've gotten some comments on the videos that we've posted talking about, well, should I just wait for the interest rates to go down because that's what everyone's hinting towards? Here's the problem. I've got investors that have been sitting on $1 million plus on the sidelines. So what happens when the interest rates go down and they're a cash buyer versus you're financing FHA, or maybe you do have 20%, but they're looking to close in 10 days, you know, sight unseen. They've got the liquidity. It puts you still at a disadvantage, and they can ask for over or quicker closings. So, you know, the interest rates going down is going to be something that's going to affect the whole market, not just your option. There'll be more people in the pool. So is it the right time? That's your personal financial situation. But I would recommend getting in before there's 1,000 people bidding on one house.
Okay, keeps Florida real estate relatively insulated from the national dip. I don't believe that one, but that's what some people were saying. But again, if they weren't moving here and buying these higher end homes and stuff, we would really be in a lot of trouble.
And I think one of the good metrics we have to turn to is foreclosure and see if there's an increase. I think that's really the sign. We've mentioned things like the golden handcuffs, and people, you know, are locked into 5-year ago rates. So do they have to go? Are they losing their home? Is equity in the home? Again, there's lots of dimensions that we have to look over.
But there's bad things too about New Yorkers moving here.
Yes.
Okay, and I could say that too because I moved here from New York. You moved here from New York. Okay.
Absolutely, we're entitled.
California and New Yorkers pretty much dominate a lot of Florida. Okay, moving in here. Wealthy retirees escaping high taxes are driving up prices because they could afford more.
Yeah, exactly.
So some businesses realize that, and it causes inflation. So if like a Florida local that says, hey, you know, I want to buy that house for $250,000. The same house now is $500,000.
Right.
And a New Yorker coming down buying that house for 500,000 kind of hurts locals.
Yes.
What do you think of
yes.
that one?
Well, it's 100% accurate, and it's unfortunate. And I think I've said this before, where the locals have to go to more rural areas. We're looking more north, more central Florida, not your typical waterfront property, not your, because waterfront's a whole separate thing, because you're a flood zone, and you know what you're going to pay for that. So
Oh,
we can't even afford that.
I always said, like, this property here, you know, the house that we're going to build, only the rich could afford.
Correct. I mean, there's no way. But here's the other thing. Let's rewind the hands of time.
Okay.
10, 15 years ago. Was it affordable for your local? 100%. They could probably get a job, you know, at a Publix and afford to have a small little mobile
Yeah.
on a plot of land that you know, a half an hour you'll be out in the Gulf.
Here's a fact that I think a lot of people don't know about. Back in the day, the turn of the century, 19th century, the rich did not want to live on the water. They wanted to have land and estates inland. Okay, even here in Florida, the fishermen and the workers lived right on the water.
Right, and that's the shift. That's the shift. So here's the thing: the workers were making their money because they were out there catching, bringing it, and selling it. That was their
To the big estates.
Yep, but the people that had the money, they wanted land so they can entertain. They'd probably have some farm. They'd make their, you know, get their own food there and everything else, and use that land for their revenue.
All right, so we talked about locals getting priced out, infrastructure strain, roads, schools, utilities. I mean, they're building over here, like even there's a road here called Little Road.
Yep.
Thousands of homes. I'm like,
Yep.
that road can't handle it.
Where's the school that's going to support those 1,000+ families? So it's not in place. And what happens is the homes get built first, then they adjust
the track
for
homes, yeah.
Yep. Then they adjust for the schooling, and they wait until, okay, the schools are overpopulated, crowded, and then they start working on that. That should be in place
And
first.
then they put in a vote like, oh, penny for Pasco or something like that to make it sound like, oh, it's a penny.
Yeah.
They
Penny for Pasco, it has been a good thing. I think what direction they're going in, but what's the stops the county and saying, hey, when you do this, we want the first 100 homes to be built and then the school, and restructure that, because 100 homes, 100 families, get the school started. Let's start offloading that ease. You know, not build everything, pull out, and then we'll worry about the schooling.
Let's talk about insurance costs. I know we touched on it, but here's my take on the insurance costs. Before, when there was a hurricane and it didn't seem as bad, and now when we have a hurricane, it's so traumatic. The reason why is everybody's moving into Florida and they're consolidating people. Now the houses are 8, 10 feet apart from each other. But before they were
15 easily.
Yeah, not even 30.
30, yeah. 15 per lot. Yeah, you got 15 on either side.
Yeah.
And you weren't able to reach out the door and shake hands
No,
with,
but
with your
so now when
neighbors.
there's a hurricane, since we're all consolidated, everybody,
Yeah.
come on, everybody wants to live on the East Coast or the West Coast.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, like the East Coast, more New Yorkers gravitate towards the East Coast, Miami, Fort Lauderdale,
Yeah.
all that area, and the West Coast, more California people. Okay, zoning battles, you know, so there's like, people are just getting fed up. I mean, I couldn't believe that land that they just knocked down all the trees over here,
Yep.
all the animals.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
I'm seeing more and more animals in my backyard, bobcats, all that stuff.
Because they've been displaced.
They've been displaced, you know?
Right. There isn't a plan really to say, let's transition them out. It just happens like that. And you're talking about basically wiping out a ecosystem and no transition period for that.
Don't California my Florida bumper stickers.
Yes.
I'm starting to see those. Or
Yes.
don't New York my Florida.
Yes, exactly. But there's a reason, because what you're getting is the imagery of the homelessness and the government not taking care of things. You know, you had one of the interviews where the area was on fire, and they were talking about, we need to assess how long before we can get permit approvals. And hey, we're kind of seeing some of that here in our local.
Yeah, they're bringing some
Those
of them.
policies,
They're
yeah.
bringing their policies to Florida.
Right.
They're coming here maybe for other reasons, but then they want to bring their politics here.
Which is bad, because now you're slowing down the thing that you wanted to come here for. You're escaping one sludge, and you're creating the sludge over here. So you really don't want it.
So at the end of the day, the
Yeah.
opening question was, all these people moving in, I'll answer it first and you answer it.
Yeah.
Moving in, can it save the Florida real estate? Because we're in a little bit of trouble, and there's plenty of videos on that. I won't get into that. And I say up to a certain point. They're buying a lot of new construction. They're buying second homes. But again, they're talking about the property taxes here, and they're talking about either eliminating property taxes or reducing them or doing
Right.
something. We
Right,
won't know
right.
for about a year and a half.
Right.
But there was one proposal that I heard this morning doing research for this video. You know what? We'll lower everybody that homesteads it
Correct.
and increase the taxes on second homes and investment homes, which I think is a horrible idea. Okay? I don't think if you want to go after the investors or the second homeowners, because they bring a lot of other money into the economy. And some people say, well, we'll just raise sales tax. And that's horrible too, because I think if you raise sales tax, you're going to hit the people that don't have money.
Yeah, I think I've got the most unpopular opinion.
All right,
And,
go ahead.
and you're going to be prepared for all the comments on this one.
Yeah, you can answer
So-
that.
So here's the thing, and you know we've experienced COVID, and I'm gonna take this international. So in Venice, the waters were so nasty and polluted and dirty. They told you not to go in there. You
Didn't
couldn't
they get cleaned out after COVID?
after COVID. Do you
But they
know
cleaned-
how?
Because nobody was out to
Nobody
pollute
was in it. So sometimes we need to just have a pause in order for things. If we're talking about there's a problem here with Florida, then we can't adjust people coming in and regulate that at the same time as we're trying to accommodate those here. If there was a pause and we said, hey, we're not doing anything else, we're going to fix what's here, what's broken here, then we might have a situation like that. Because I went post-COVID to Venice and everyone said it was one way, and when we got there, it didn't stink, the waters were clean.
Yeah,
It
people said they actually saw
self-healed.
fish.
The fish were back, people were sitting back there. So if we're talking about there's a problem with Florida and it needs to heal, then we need to pause certain things. And what can we do? Can we build and slow down the new construction, the people that are coming in buying new homes? So maybe making it harder for investors. See, I disagree with you. Making it harder for the investors to buy their second home. And I personally don't think that the real true investors, if you want this life, you can afford it. And you know, it's not it's something that is, all right, we got to save up. It's not your local person that's working 9 to 5 at Publix and, you know, maybe a fast food place and stuff like that. This is someone that's been here 20, 30, 40 years, and now they're looking to ease off in their life. Where is affordable for them? And in order to get that, we need to pause everyone coming in and making it super expensive for those people. So yes, I think that maybe we hold off on the investment stuff. We make it expensive, and definitely the homestead. If this is your permanent home, you live here, let's make it affordable
All right,
for
answer
you.
the question. You're a real estate broker.
Yep.
Can out-of-staters save Florida housing market? Are they helping it or hurting it?
No, I think they're helping it. They're bringing the money in, and you need some ideas to change things and innovate.
What do you
it.
guys think?
I think we still have people that we need here because we've been dealing with, Florida's been pretty much consistent as far as how it's grown, and you know.
Do you know, I don't know if you saw them, but I literally did videos that I crossed out the name Florida and wrote Southern New York. Like, I actually did a couple of videos saying
Right,
that
right.
Florida is turning into New York, you know?
Yeah.
It's losing that Florida, old Florida feel and look that when I used to come down here when I was
But
younger.
here's the thing, it's same thing. Cracker Barrel is changing the way their stores are because the nostalgia is gone, because the people that enjoy that are no longer going to those places.
trying to say
it's
I'm old?
I'm just saying a little change is not bad. When I was here, 1 in 10 people were from Florida. That's tough.
That is tough.
That is tough.
Anyways, that's today's video. Do me a favor, as always, consider subscribing. It really does help out the channel. if you need a real estate agent or a home inspector, my phone number's below. And watch this video right here. I picked it out just for you guys. And comment and share and like. And I'll talk to you next one. Thank you and have a great day.
Take care.